Hello everybody and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out something called Gray by developer Jovsim. This is another game from the Global Game Jam 2015. It's sort of a hybrid of a first-person puzzle, platformer and exploration game all thrown into one. It's got a little bit of a bunch of ups and downs, some positives and negatives, but really, what doesn't? So I did play about maybe 5 minutes or so of this to get a feel for it. And there's some things that I wanted to point out that are very cool about this, but also some things that I think are worth pointing out, kind of things that maybe to avoid if possible, if you're a developer working on something like this in the future. So that's, well, of course, just my opinion anyway. So let's get started. We've got a completely white room here that we seem to have spawned into. I had no idea what this game was even going to be, so when I jumped into this thing, I had no idea if there was going to be any tutorial or any kind of thing to get me up to speed about what I should be doing or what I should be experiencing or looking for, and all I see in every direction is white. Occasionally you'll see a couple of pixels perhaps of like a little bit of an edge of something, and then all of a sudden at the bottom it says, "What, am I dead?" And I'll just keep walking forward a little bit more. Now those pixels become a little bit more defined, letting you at least have some sort of a semblance of an idea that maybe there is a game world here that we're walking around in. But it isn't until you decide to click on things that you realize we're going for sort of an unfinished swan approach, where we can draw dots and lines on all the walls. So we actually have spawned into a maze of some kind, and we need to find out our way through. Okay, don't panic, just find a way out of this place if there is one, it says. First time that dialogue entry popped up, it kind of vanished again before I could even read it properly. Oh, what's that? We can get both the floor and the wall at the same time for some reason. Alright, fair enough. So we're just going to kind of coat all the walls here, make our way through the maze, and before you know it, we are out of the maze. The maze was actually only a temporary thing there. Ugh, it's so colorless, reeks of acid. It's very rare, actually, that you hear someone describe something in terms of smell in a video game, I've noticed. I would not mind hearing that a little bit more often. So this is the main area of the game, from what I can tell. Seems to be a bit more interesting out here. And it's kind of funny that we would transition from an enclosed area like that to somewhere a little bit more expansive, and then we're just sort of left with this game mechanic with this unfinished swan thing that just is no longer relevant anywhere else. So since the game never really tutorializes to us what exactly our mouse pointer does, well, we kind of have to figure it out on the fly. These crystals are strange, maybe they have magical powers. I'm going to go ahead and say they do. We can press E to colorize, and all of a sudden, things look a little bit more interesting. I should avoid the water and that weird-looking white ground. And, well, ironically enough, just as it says that, we're just about headed to walk towards some white ground, as it were. So that's maybe an unfortunate timing for that, but I think they mean this white ground and also the water here. Anyway, let's keep moving on. Some odd scale on these trees as well. These ones seem pretty fine, and then over here, tiny little pine trees. Now, this place is amazing. The smell of acid, yeah, is still a problem, I would say. So we can just keep turning on colorfulness. We need to improvise a bridge, and it looks like this purple cube might get the job done. Now, since I didn't understand that left-clicking was a thing in the first place, I didn't really realize that it would be a thing here as well. And apparently the way that this works is if you hold left-click, as long as you're clicking in the right place, when the colors are active, you can sort of elongate certain objects, and not all of the objects are susceptible in the same way. That was easy, and those cubes might come in handy, so we're just going to keep looking for more of those in the future. I should probably point out the elephant in the room at this point. I've been trying not to say anything about it, and I turned it especially down, but this music, I have to say, really does not suit this game very much. It's kind of like this electronica that sort of almost fades into some element of dubstep, and I found it very distracting and abrasive on the ears. And I'll just sort of solve this puzzle, I guess, while we're waiting here. I guess if you kind of position that wrong... Oh, you can break the whole thing. I didn't realize that. There we go. That actually works out just fine. And maybe I can just make a pillar up into the sky as well. But yeah, the problem on this, the music is not just that it's very abrasive to listen to. It's also that it loops really fast, too. So it's like you've got something that's very prominent in your ear, and it just keeps hitting that same kind of screeching sound, which is a thing that... Well, I don't know, I find that this environment speaks to me in a little bit more of an ethereal way than something so in-your-face and abrasive like that. You guys can feel free to tell me I'm wrong if you feel differently. I guess I'm kind of curious to crowdsource that opinion, whether or not you think that that's correct or what. Honestly, when it comes down to things, it's all subjective anyway, so it's not like there's really a right or wrong answer. It's just my personal opinion that this music does not necessarily match this environment. And I think that that is a thing that, especially when it loops so quickly like this, you really want to be careful of... oh. Alright, you don't move along with the platform there, so we've died, and now we have to go back to the maze. That's unfortunate. But yeah, you just have to be aware that, like, that's something that can very quickly turn a player off to wanting to spend time in this game world that you've created, which, you know, for all intents and purposes might look quite pretty or might play quite well. But if you just can't stand the sound that's playing over and over in your ear, that's going to definitely drive people away to some extent. Or at least it has that effect on me most of the time. I persevere in this case because I find that this is, well, it's useful to critique this stuff, but, you know, if I wasn't playing this for the sake of the video, I might not have gone back as many times as I have already. I'm also honestly kind of curious about what's up with the tower at the end. I'm pretty confident that I can make it there. So let's just extend this bridge again. We got to get our colors back again. I was kind of imagining this would function a little bit more like a day blob situation where each crystal, like, colorizes the area right around us immediately, you know, proximity-wise, but it's funny to me that it's sort of just like a toggle. It's like we've got all these crystalline light switches everywhere, turning on and off the color to things. And as far as, like, things being gray in general, aside from just that toggle effect, it really doesn't do a whole lot. It doesn't affect us in a great way. It's more just like, hey, well, wouldn't you rather see this world in color? And I think what would be probably more interesting, if anything, is just to be able to activate a space and then see the progress that you make as you move forward. They could also, of course, function sort of like checkpoints, and so when I do something like that, I don't have to go back to the maze every time. Because I don't really understand what that's doing for us here at all. I get that it's kind of clever that we go, what, am I dead? And then it's like the first time you start it up, you're going, oh, well, I don't understand the framing of this narrative. And then also the narrative eventually feeds into itself in that way, which is, you know, kind of fun, I guess. I do not really get, though, why we transition from being able to do one ability to another just because we're in one environment versus another. I mean, I guess crystals gives us magic powers or something, but... you know, why can't I draw on the walls anymore? Maybe I want to still do that for some reason, or maybe I want to be able to use those cubes in some other way. I think also if they're going to be physics-based like that, it's kind of important that they be at least slightly scripted so you can't just completely break it. And again, I'm saying this all with a huge grain of salt because I know this is a global game jam game. It's probably made in under 48 hours. This is just, you know, my criticism because I enjoy this type of gameplay and I do like seeing these things thrive and survive and do well as they are and want to bring the best out, well, at least the best in my opinion of what can be done in most given scenarios for the most enjoyable gameplay. How far does this go? Can I just make this go off into space? Can I just climb this out to one of those islands off in the distance? It looks like I can. Also, does the time that we have color last longer sometimes than others? I also just realized I'm getting a... wow, okay, well, I like that, whatever that was. I'm getting a little bit of an Antichamber vibe from this, too. I guess it's probably to do with the stretching of the colorful cubes and such, but I definitely do enjoy that kind of space, and I hope that there's a sequel to Antichamber someday. It's one of my favorites ever. And I love the space that was made, the environment, the atmosphere, like, everything about Antichamber was freaking amazing to me. Yeah, so let's just make this platform go off into the ocean, maybe, and see if we can break the game a little bit. Is that a thing? How far is this going? I can't quite tell. Seems like it's gone quite far, actually. Yeah, I guess if you're really going to be creative about it, we've got some speedrun strats here. You could probably get this platform to eventually line up with this tower area and just kind of walk your way across the whole world over to it. Kind of interesting that you can see the whole thing from an outside perspective like this, too, if you just set it up correctly. Strange, too, that we've got this cube at the beginning where the maze was, and then it just we've got the lines of where the cube edges are, but nowhere else does that kind of thing happen. I would have almost been fine if, like, once you walk out of it, the space that you come out of just vaporizes into nothing, and we're just left with, like, oh, why did that happen? I don't know. Oh, well, let's look at this area now. Cubes aren't really active or colorless. Okay, well, can we colorify them? There we go. Seems like some of the crystals don't really do that. So you gotta remember to walk when I'm on top of that, otherwise we die. Also, there's like 1 extra second of walking animation after I let go of the W key, which means that you can just walk yourself into the ocean. Could be a bit of a problem, since it's so easy to get yourself killed and then have to restart again at the maze. Oh, alright, so this is going to be a bit of an issue if... so I've got to do this with a timer on, and also not botch the jumps. Okay, and keep walking. No, I'm afraid that that's probably a little unrealistic to get me to do that. Too many variables going on there. So the timer is a thing. The fact that we have to walk on the platforms is a thing. The fact that there's an extra step every time when I stop moving, and there's also maybe a slight delay to the jump. All of those factors, I think, make some kind of little platforming challenge like that almost impossible. So, well, I mean, it might just be a bug. Maybe it's on my end. Maybe it's a Unity problem. Maybe it's a compatibility issue, but I definitely need to be able to stand on top of that block and have it carry me, not have to walk with it. And I think I was about to say this prior, but I had a situation where I fell off of the cube one time and it didn't kill me. So I was just able to walk in the water immediately around where that block happened to be. So, you know, in that case, well, I guess it's forgiving there, but it's not really good for the gameplay. Let's see if we can find a way to get that blue cube to, like, take us to the end of this journey immediately. Is that a thing we can work out here? Maybe I can use this purple column to, like, knock it sideways so I can then get some results. Oh, see, this is not quite right. I don't think I can, like, yeah, I can't affect or move this thing in any way. But you know what? This angle might actually be good enough. Oh, right, it's extending in both directions, isn't it? Okay, fair enough. Let's try this again. Let's see if we can just get this all the way to the lighthouse. I assume this will just keep going forever, right? Pretty sure it will. At the very least, it should be able to get us all the way past the 2 green platforms that were giving me a problem a second ago. Then the problem needs to be, can I stay on that and walk in a straight line? Which sounds like it would be super simple, but oddly enough, there's maybe a little bit of sway as you move left and right, so it might end up being a problem after all. Who knows? Okay, I can't even tell how far this thing has gone, but I'm going to assume we're getting pretty close to where we need to be. I really want to cheese this for some reason. I don't know why I care so much. The first time I tried to even extend one of these blocks, like, I couldn't even make it move, and I don't know if it was just that I was clicking in the wrong place or what, but it just didn't seem to have an effect. Okay, is this... We've got to be getting very close. I'm going to be very frustrated if we get all the way to the end there and then it's just slightly too short. That's got to be good, right? Yeah, I mean, it's going as far as the eye can freaking see, so... just don't fall off. If I fall off, it's GG. We're just done then. Oh yeah, this is going pretty well so far. Don't fall. Don't fall. Oh, this is smooth sailing. We're basically done. Oh, speedrun strats. They're so fast. Oh, the fastest strats in the world. White cube is blocking my path. I need to get high. Oh, okay. Is that how it is? How are you going to do that? Yeah, this is not how you do that. What was meant to be done there? Oh, this is great. What was meant to be done there is supposed to extend the blue block and climb over it after it was taller, but I've broken, yeah. Now I've broken it in every possible way. Oh, this is hilarious. Can I just use this and just get to the end now? There you go. Now let's just cause this to wobble. It's going to come through and just beat me up, isn't it? It's going to knock me into the ocean of eternal suffering and struggles. Oh, can I not even reach it? It might just be too high. Oh god, the frame rate! What have I done? Oh, the collision! Well, I've broken the game. I'm so sorry. I've really broken it now. The frame rate is 2. I'm just gonna go stand in this corner. I was hoping if I walked away from it that I'd fix it, but I think there's just a perpetual physics problem happening right now. That's totally just screwed the frame rate to nothing. Alright, so that was Gray, everybody. If you'd like to go check this out, there'll be a download link in the description. You can go grab it for free if you'd like, and let me know what happens if you're able to get to the lighthouse, because I'm very curious. And I'm sorry that I destroyed the game. I was trying to be clever. Turns out being clever is not a good idea, because this can happen. Oh, the frame rate's gone up to 4. Nope, now it's back down to 2 again. Never mind. I got too optimistic. So, you know, interesting concept. I think that there is potential for something like this for sure. I like the idea of being able to stretch and manipulate these blocks to solve puzzles, and I like the fact that there's some even an emergent gameplay, and the fact that you can kind of go off the rails a little bit. Really don't like the music, but the graphical aesthetic is cool. So, oh, the frame rate's just fixed itself. So maybe one of these blocks has just shot itself off into the stratosphere, and maybe things are just going to be getting back to normal now. Regardless, though, I don't think that there's a way for me... And oh, maybe I can clip up these pine trees? Oh, the speedrun strats are too good! I've done it, boys! Well, I still don't want to really go to the very, very end, because I want to leave a little bit of mystery for you all to discover. But still, turns out anything is possible in the world of Gray. So thank you, everybody, for watching. We're almost there, and the frame rate has gone back down to 4 again. Crap. Oh, God. Well, it might just crash. Pardon, this episode is just ridiculous. But thank you, everybody, for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you leave a like on it. I'll be back again tomorrow for another one. If you enjoy the concept of finding out about a new artistic, original, or unique indie game every single day, make sure you subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/RockLeeSmile, and I will be back again tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a fantastic night. Look like the frame rate just got better again. I don't know what on earth is going on. Anyway, thanks again, guys. I will see you all later.